Lily arrived at Meadowbrook Cottage under a sky heavy with unshed rain, carrying little more than a worn suitcase and a heart cracked by loneliness. Her parents, lost in the churning demands of distant cities, had deposited her here with Great Aunt Alara, a woman as mysterious and quiet as the old house itself. The cottage didn't just sit on the hill. It seemed to grow from it, its weathered stone walls draped in ivy like a shawl, windows peering out like wise, tired eyes from the first moment Lily stepped across the threshold. She felt it a deep, rhythmic sighing in the very timbers, a soft creaking in the floorboards that wasn't merely age settling, but something alive, something breathing. The air inside tasted faintly of ancient wood, dried lavender, and a quiet melancholy that matched her own. The vast, echoing rooms felt daunting at first, amplifying Lily's sense of isolation. Aunt Alara moved like a shadow, offering gentle smiles but few words, often disappearing into her sunroom filled with whispering plants seeking solace. Lily began to talk. She spoke to the smooth, cool plaster of the walls, confiding her fears of being forgotten, her sadness at the empty chair where her mother should sit. She murmured stories to the deep-set windows overlooking the wildflower meadow, and the house listened. On days when Lily's heart felt heaviest, a warm draft would curl around her ankles, like a comforting touch when she cried silent tears onto her pillow at night. The old beams overhead would creak softly, a lullaby of understanding. Would the rhythmic sighing seem to sync with her own breath, a quiet companionship in the stillness. One fierce autumn night, a gale howled down from the moors, rattling the windows like angry fists. Thunder cracked directly overhead, shaking the cottage to its foundations. Lily, terrified, huddled under her quilt. Suddenly, the house seemed to gather itself. The groans of the timbers deepened, not in protest, but in a powerful, resonant hum. The drafts swirling through the corridors stilled, replaced by a surprising warmth radiating from the ancient stone fireplace. Even though no fire burned, the front door, which had been shuddering in its frame, locked itself with a solid, reassuring thunk. Outside, the storm raged. Inside, a profound, protective calm settled. Lily felt it the house wasn't just sheltering her. It was holding her, breathing steadily against the chaos, keeping her safe. Years bloomed and faded like the meadow flowers Lily grew, her laughter becoming a frequent music within the old walls. She learned the house's moods. The cheerful morning light streaming through the east windows, the contented sigh of the floorboards in the afternoon sun, the deep, slow breathing of the structure at night, a sound as familiar as her own heartbeat. She sang to it while dusting, and sometimes, faintly, she swore the house hummed back, a vibration deep within the stones. The loneliness receded, replaced by a profound, wordless bond. The house wasn't merely a building. It was her silent confidant, her steadfast guardian, a living presence that breathed with her through seasons of sun and snow. The inevitable day arrived, sharp and bright. A taxi waited by the gate, ready to take Lily to university. Far from the whispering meadows, Aunt Alara, older and frilier now, held her hand tightly. Lily walked through each beloved room, her fingers trailing over the familiar walls. The cool banister. She pressed her palm against the warm stone beside the hearth, whispering goodbye as she stepped outside. A profound stillness fell over the cottage. The rhythmic sighing known all her life seemed to catch, then fade into a silence deeper than any before. The windows, usually bright and watchful, looked vacant. It wasn't just empty. It felt profoundly bereft, as if its very soul had departed with the girl. Decades later, life's currents brought Lily back, her own hair now touched with silver, her hand holding the small, warm hand of her daughter. Rose Meadowbrook Cottage stood weathered but enduring, yet it felt dormant, slumbering under layers of dust and quiet. Lily's heart ached at the stillness. She walked Rose through the rooms, whispering stories of the breathing house, of the comforting sighs and the protective hum during storms. Rose, curious and bright, skipped towards the sunroom, her clear, bubbling laughter suddenly filling the silent space. It was a sound Meadowbrook hadn't heard in a very long time. And then, softly, almost hesitantly, A familiar deep sigh resonated through the floorboards near Lily's feet. A gentle draft, warm and welcoming, stirred the dust motes in a shaft of sunlight. A quiet creak overhead sounded like a contented murmur. Lily sank onto the old sofa, Rose climbing into her lap. Still giggling, tears welled in Lily's eyes, not of sorrow, but of a deep, overflowing joy. She placed her hand flat against the wall beside her, feeling the faint, steady thrum beneath the plaster. The house was breathing again. Slow, deep, peaceful breaths that rose and fell, in perfect harmony with her own, and with the bright, quick breaths of the child now nestled within its ancient, loving embrace. The silence was gone, replaced by the gentle, living rhythm of a home rediscovering its heart, breathing once more with its family. The comforting sigh filled the room, a sound as eternal as the hills themselves.